everyone, and welcome to our September virtual So Fun Club. I am so glad that you were able to join us here tonight, and we have a very special treat for you tonight with a special guest with lots of products to share with you. But what I want to remind you of, for all of our products here, you can purchase them at Moores-so.com. And keep in mind, you can go to our website as well as our 5 locations where you can pick up the products. So for our virtual So Fun Club at the very end here, once again, we are going to have our show and tell. And for show and tell, we always want you to like, comment, and share these videos. And you can get into the running for one of our special gifts that we have for drawings. And this month, we have 2 special kits that I have here, and they are featuring Kimberbell products. So we have the Autumn Splendor buttons, we also have scissors and a tape runner. And then we also have the wonderful canvas totes. So both of these items, for all of them in this wonderful kit that you potentially can win, is valued at over $38. And we have 2 of them that we're going to have. And keep in mind, we will be drawing those names at the end of the month. So, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Jill Repp from June Tailor. Now, June, hello. Good to see you again.
Hello, how are you, Michele?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited for all of the products that you have for us tonight. And it's one of those things that I know our customers are going to be so excited about because what you have to show them tonight is probably going to change their view of quilting. So I can't wait to get into it. But before we do that, tell us a little bit about June Tailor and a little bit of the history that you'd like to share.
Absolutely. So, June Tailor Incorporated, we are 61 years old. Our founder's
Wow.
name was June Cronky, and she changed her legal name to June Tailor in the 70s. She was a real entrepreneur and developed a tailor board, which is a wooden gadget that was used to press darts and seams when people were doing a lot of garment sewing. And June had many, many products for pressing cloths and everything related to garment sewing and how you ironed. She noticed in the 80s that a lot of people were going away from garment sewing and picking up quilting or craft sewing and different types of projects. And so she really began to tailor the product line more toward that quilter. Sadly, June passed away in
Oh.
1993, and at that time, I joined the company. So I've been there for over 28 years. And I always say, lucky I have big feet because I had some big shoes to fill. But I loved, the history of June Tailor. I am the youngest of 5 girls. I grew up sewing. I grew up sewing with June Tailor products. And so I feel like this is the place for me. And I do want to carry out June's mission of developing products that make the process easier and make it simpler and make it look perfect every time so that you have a great result. And so you'll notice that a lot of the things I'm going to show you tonight are actually, they look really extravagant, but they're beginner level and they're very easy to do.
Well, and that's always something that's welcome, I think, in everyone's book as far as having something that looks fabulous, but it's super easy to create so that you can duplicate it and save on your time as far as creativity. So I can't wait. And I know I have a little sneak peek and I kind of know what's coming, and I can't wait for you guys to see it all. So, June, let's get going. Let's not hold back anymore. And what would you like to share with us first?
What we're going to talk about is a new product, relatively new product line of ours called Quilt as You Go, where you are actually quilting as you sew your pieces together. So instead of traditional quilting where you piece the top, layer the batting and the backing, you're going to do it all in one step. So I'm going to change over to a different camera setting so I can show you how it works. We're going to start out today, Michele, with something really easy. We are going to make a little mug mat. Some people call it a mug rug. And we're going to use our Quilt As You Go printed batting. And this happens to be our log cabin design. And as you can see, this is the batting. So this is the part that goes in between, usually our quilts, right in the middle. We actually print right onto this batting. Now, a lot of people are familiar with printed paper, but I think we're the only company out there that has mastered printing onto the batting. So the pattern is already right there waiting for you. These little mug mats come 3 per kit, so you'll be able to actually make 3 of them, complete 3 of them with one kit. You provide your own fabric, so that's the fun part, and it's great because you can even use your stash. So to start out, we are going to attach backing fabric to this. So you're basically going to just put a little glue on the back of your batting, and you're going to attach your backing fabric. We chose this yellow today so that it would be nice and bright and show up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have you cut all your pieces. And in the directions that come with your printed batting, we tell you exactly what sizes and shapes to cut. Everything is pretty basic, a lot of 2.5-inch strips. So if you have jelly rolls, that's great because you're going to be able to use them. So all the cuts are very simple. So we want these nice and stiff when we work with them because we're going to be finger pressing throughout the process. We're not going to use our iron. So my backing is on. I'm going to take piece number 1, which is the square, and I'm going to put it in one position. I'll hold this up. Hopefully you can see that the numbers are right on the batting. So
Yeah,
number
we
1 is
absolutely
here.
can see. That looks
Good.
great, Jill.
I'll bring this down a little bit. So we position that here. I cheat as much as I can. I like to put a little glue right in there, and then I put piece number 1 down so that it stays in place. Okay, then we take piece number 2, which is a green rectangle, and here's the rectangle number 2. We put right sides together and raw edges even on this placement line between 1 and 2. So the line that you see here is not a sewing line, it is a placement line. Right sides together, raw edges even, and we're going to stitch in 1/4 inch. So when we stitch in 1/4 inch, we are going to go through all layers. And I have that done here. So now my 1/4 inch is sewn in, and you can see it. I used dark color thread so you can see it on the back as well. And there's my 1/4 inch. When I flip it open, it should land right on the next placement line, and it does. And then what you're going to do is finger press this open, or you can use a wooden seam wand if you want. Then you're going to take piece number 3. In this case, it is another rectangle, right sides together with 1 and 2, right on that placement line, and you're going to stitch 1/4 inch. And I've got that done here, so you can see how that looks. We're going to flip that open and finger press that down. We are halfway done with our mug mat. We're going to add piece 4 again and flip and sew, and I have that done. So when I go like this, again, we're going to finger press. This is a very forgiving process. So if you're a little off, if you sewed crooked and say you're a little short, don't worry about it. It's okay because we're going to actually cover that up with the next step. So the closer you can do to putting your fabrics on the placement line, the better your results are going to be. So now I'm adding piece 5. I'm going to sew that and flip that down and press, and I'm on my last piece, which is the red floral again. And we'll put that right sides together and sew. And when you have that done, your little mug mat is completely sewn on top. It's also quilted on the back. So everything is done in one step. When I'm sewing, I typically don't go back and forth. I just do a straight stitch. I don't even lock it in. If you want to cut your backing a little larger, you can do kind of an auto bind like this and bring it around to the front, or you can use traditional binding, which is what I've done here. So now our mug mat is complete and bound. It's that simple. These are so fun to give as gifts. You can roll them up. You can stick them in a mug, add some drink mixes, add some candies, some recipes, put cellophane around it, and you can just have a really gorgeous gift. They're great for holiday time. Just think how fun this would be to give with a a Christmas mat or a Christmas mug. Here's another idea. If you have photo fabric, you can also print a photo and you can use that for your big square on your log cabin mug mat. Or if you have a machine that has embroidery stitches, you can put a monogram on your mug mat. It's just really a lot of fun. And as you can see, you can use up your stash as well. And so think about it. You get 3 per kit. You can have one new one pretty much every day of the week, or you can give as gifts. So that is the process of Quilt as you go. Now, almost everything I'm going to show you today uses that same type of process. So let's move on to a different project, but I'm going to show you a little bit about how we did this. These are our little cosmetic bags. There are 2 cosmetic bags per kit, a large one, and here's the left and the right for the large one. And you can see on the batting, here is the left and the right for the small cosmetic bag. You're going to cut these cosmetic bags out. And what we're going to do, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what they're going to look like when they're done
Oh,
so that you
wow.
can kind of have a visual. So we're going to start the process the same way, and we are going to attach our backing fabric. So again, I would simply just use a glue or spray based, spray that on and attach your backing. And then after your backing is attached, we actually have you stitch around the outside edges and cut and starch your fabrics. So I'm going to go pretty fast through this process because we've all just seen this, but you put piece 1 down and then you would actually then put 1, glue that down, and piece 2, and then you're going to flip that open and sew that to your section, and that will look like this. So now 1 and 2 are sewn on, and then I would add 3 and 4, 5 and 6. I've skipped ahead a little bit, Michele, because we've all kind of seen that process. So I've done all of this row and I've added 5 and 6, and then 7 would be here, and I'd flip that up, and then I would add 8. And when I get that all done, it looks like this. So my top has all been pieced, and I've got the ability to now press it with an iron. If I turn it over to the back, you can see all your quilting is done. And you can also see that outside stitching line that we initially made so that you know where to trim your left and right side. So I'm going to trim on that outside stitching line. And when I have that trimmed, it looks like this. Now here's the fun part. I need to attach a right side to a left side with a zipper, but there's a lot of us who don't like zippers. So we're going to introduce you to something called Zippity Doo Done. In your kit, you will get 2 Zippity Doo Done zippers, a small one for the small cosmetic bag and a larger one for the larger cosmetic bag. Now, this particular kit contains red Zippity Doo Done zippers, but you will also have them available to you in black and navy. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Zippity Doo Done zipper. The zipper is actually sewn in already, and it's sewn into a casing. So this casing is going to nest your project right in here. There's a left and a right side to this casing. Let me hold this open so that you can see what that casing looks like. And the zipper is sewn in the middle. Now, be careful not to pull the zipper pull off. You want to leave that zipper pull on, otherwise it'll slide right off. We're going to eventually sew that, but be careful not to pull the zipper pull off. What we're going to do is open up one side of the casing on Zippity Doo Done, and I'm using the larger zipper because I'm working on the larger cosmetic bag. And we're basically going to nest that side of our cosmetic bag right into the Zippity Doo Done casing. And I'm going to run a straight stitch all along here, and half my zipper is in. So I've got that done here. So you can see my straight stitch here and my zipper is in. Now I'm going to take the left side of the bag because I made a right and a left, and I'm going to open the other side of Zippity Doo Done, and I'm going to nest the other side right into that zipper casing like this. and I'm going to run a straight stitch down here. And when I do that, my zipper is in. No zipper foot required, just a simple straight stitch. So that looks like this with my zipper in. And there it is. Now, if you want to embellish this casing, you can add machine stitches. That's what we did on this particular example. We just did some basic machine stitches to jazz up that casing around your Zippity Doo Done zipper. You can also add strips of fabric in here. You can add ribbon, or you can even fold the casing in if you don't like it looking so wide. We liked the look of actually putting a little bit of fabric. I just basically cut about 1.5 inches of fabric, fold the edges under, and just sewed it right over the top of the casing. And then what we're going to do is put right sides together. We're going to sew along the side seams and the bottom. And I've got that done here. I've got the side seams and the bottom. That's leaving these corners open right here. So that's kind of an open corner there. That's how we're going to make that gusset. Make sure to open up the Zippity Doo Done zipper. And what we're going to do with that gusset is we're going to open it up, take it, and just simply pull it the other direction like this and run a straight stitch across. And that's what forms that gusset. And I've got that done on this side. So you can see my straight stitch going right across the top. So again, take that corner hole, pull it the other direction and straight stitch across. And when you turn it right sides out, you will have your completed cosmetic bag. And again, these come 2 per kit. You get the large and the small, you get the printed batting, and you get 2 of the Zippity Doo Done zippers in red, black, or navy. And have fun. These are such a great gift to give. I was recently asked to make these for all the bridesmaids in a wedding, and I think it's going to be such a nice gift for them all to receive. And they're really, you can put your cosmetics in here, but this is actually large enough for me that I can put my hairbrush and my hairspray and all of those larger toiletries in here. So between the 2 of them, you can pretty much have everything that you need for travel. Here is another set using the red zippers as well. Here we did no embellishing. We just left the casing as is, and that's pretty too. And then here's an example of the blue. And on the navy blue zippers, we did add a little fabric to the top so that you can kind of see we jazzed up that casing of the Zippity Doo Done zipper a little bit. Now, there's enough piecing in our projects that everything should stay together and be washable easily. What if you don't want to chop up your fabrics? You might have a gorgeous fabric like this one, and you don't want to cut it up. It's fine. You can use the printed batting just as is, only we do want you to just have a couple quilting lines sewn in so that you can hold everything together. So this is our example of the black Zippity Doo Done zipper in this bag. And we used simply this gorgeous fabric, and we didn't piece it, but we did quilt it a little bit and put some embellishing fabric over the top of Zippity. And this was the little bag, the little cosmetic bag that we made to go with it. So again, yes.
Jill, I love that because that's K facet fabric, and it is the hardest thing for me to cut up my K facet fabric. So I would have done the same exact thing there.
I know sometimes it's too pretty to cut, right?
Yep.
So now that we understand the quilt as you go process and we understand Zippity, let's talk about these. These are really cool as well. This is our 2-pack of project bags, Michele, and you get everything you need to make these 2 project bags. This is 16-inch and this one is 18-inch. Everything you need but the fabric. You pick your own fabric. So inside the kit, you are going to get a quilt as you go substrate. Now this one is really a lot more stiffer than batting. This is actually polypropylene. So this is a very sturdy material. This is similar to like if you ever have those reusable grocery bags that are really they can hold a lot of weight. That's what this
Yeah.
is like. But the Quilt as you go numbers and the order of which to sew are printed right on here. You also get 2 sheets of vinyl. So hopefully you can see this is a very thin vinyl. It's 12 mil and it comes attached to tissue paper. If you want to sew over the tissue paper with the tissue paper, that's what I do because that tissue paper glides under your presser foot a lot nicer than if you're sewing the vinyl. So you get 2 big pieces of vinyl in the kit, and then you get 2 zippers. In this case, I'm showing you the black. So you get a large and a small black Zippity Doo Done zipper. Now on these 2 packs of project bags, I know that you have them in the black, you also have them in the navy, and you have them in the red. So when I say black, navy, and red, I mean the color of the zipper, Zippity Doo Done you're going to get with it. So just like all our other projects, we are going to use the numbered substrate and we're going to make the back of our project bag. And again, we'd start with 1, add 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then our corners. So this is actually the back of the project bag. And then we would turn it over like this. And this is going to be what we're going to see through. And then our next step is you will also make a little top like this right here. And we use the black with the gold scrolls, and we use that on the front and the back. And we just did some straight line quilting to hold all that together. And then we sewed our Zippity Doo Done zipper on the top and embellished it with a little bit of fabric. Now we're going to take our vinyl and we're going to sandwich our vinyl in the other side of Zippity. So I'm going to open up the casing. I'm going to put the vinyl right into the casing like this. And again, if you want to leave that tissue paper on, you can. And you're just going to run a straight stitch down here. And that's how you're going to attach the topper to the vinyl. And when that is attached, you're basically going to put wrong sides together and bind. When I say wrong sides together, we want to see the vinyl side is actually the front side. So our back side again is the quilt as you go on the polypropylene, and our front side has that great Zippity Doo Done zipper here with that little bit of embellishing on the top and the bottom. So this is our 18-inch bag and this is our 16-inch bag. This one's really easy to make. It starts with a square and then you add some rectangles and another set of rectangles. You turn it over and you make that topper, add the Zippity Doo Done, and add the vinyl. So again, everything you need comes in the kit but the fabric. You'll get the 2 Zippity Doo Done zippers, you'll get the 12 mil vinyl, and you'll get the substrate. Here's what the navy blue one looks like. This is our 16-inch and this is our 18-inch. Here we have embellished Zippity with a little bit of fabric. Here we left it plain, but let's look at both sides again so that you can kind of get an idea.
Oh, wow.
Aren't they pretty?
Gorgeous.
And then the last color we also have is the red, which is my favorite because I love this bicycle fabric. So this is the front side with the vinyl, the smaller one, which is 16-inch with the plain Zippity, and then the embellished 18-inch. And this is what they look like on the back side.
So wonderful. I love that well, first off, it's like quilting by numbers. You've made the process of doing something spectacular really easy, fun, and anyone can do this. But you've thought of all the intricacies to make it easy, as far as all the supplies as well, and gathering your own fabrics to your own likes, and then adding those wonderful Zippity Doo Done zippers that you have on screen here. It's just amazing what you can do with your products and make such a wonderful product. So let's talk about those Zippity Doo Duns now.
So if the kit needs a zipper, the zipper will be in it. But can you buy it individually? You sure can. So this is how it comes individually. And this is an 18-inch zipper. It's folded in half. So you'd get a full 18-inch zipper. And the colors it comes in are the red, the tan, black, white, navy. Again, here's our red. And then this is a light gray. So you can add Zippity to any project. Like say you wanted to make a pillow and you wanted to add a Zippity to the back. It's so easy to do. You would simply just nest your pillow top in one side of Zippity and nest the back bottom side in the other. Again, you can embellish with machine stitches or you can use fabric to embellish. So I want to show you a couple other things that we have discovered about Zippity that's kind of fun. Um, this is a way to actually cover your Zippity Doo Done zipper. I took a strip of fabric that is about 1.5 inches and I pressed under 1/4 of an inch, as you can see here. That's pressed under. And what you're going to do is you're going to take that pressed edge and you're going to put it right on the casing of Zippity, right over the top of the stitching line that was used to put the zipper in our factory. So our factory stitching line is right here. You're going to put your folded or your pressed edge right over the top of that, and you are going to sew right along there. So this is a raw edge and this is a raw edge, but my finished edge that I pressed under 1/4 inch is right on the edge of the zipper. So when I have both of them sewn, that looks like this. So these are both attached and these edges are raw. Then you take those raw edges, open up Zippity Doo Done, and just fold those under like this and press with your iron. So essentially what you have done here is you have created your own self-covered Zippity Doo Done zipper. So once those raw edges are pressed into the casing like that, it looks like this. So the only thing that you see is just in this case, the navy blue actual, the part that zips. Everything else is covered with fabric. And you can see that inside is my pressed edge. My raw edge is in there. And when I'm ready to make my project, I would simply, this is the bottom of my pillow back. This is an 18-inch pillow. So I cut an 18-inch square, cut that in half. I inserted this half into Zippity, stitched it, and now I'm going to take my top half, insert it into the casing like this, and run a straight stitch down here. And when I have that done, my pillow back looks like this, and that zipper is in. It's just beautiful and easy for me to slide my pillow in there. And look at that. Pillow is
Just
complete.
gorgeous. Yes, just gorgeous. Now, I love these Zippity Doo Duns. I know when we met Jill, I was pretty blown away because this is the way I've been doing zippers for a long time. And you have created this product that is just going to make putting zippers in so easy for everyone. And I cannot wait for our customers to get their hands on them. So, what you were going to show me one other thing with your Zippity Doo Duns?
One last idea. What happens if you're supporting two teams, or I have somebody is at this high school or this college and I want to support both. You can always take the t-shirts, cut them down the middle, slide the Zippity Doo Done. So these are great for skirt backs, or they're also great to add to a t-shirt like this. You just want to make sure you finish off, stitch this top nice and tight so that your pull is not going to fly off. But lots of great uses for Zippity Doo Done. And I know that you want to, I think, talk a little bit about pricing.
Yeah.
Don't
So
you?
let's go over the pricing now. So much to share, so much to talk about. But the first pricing that I want to go over was those mug mats. And I know that when you watch that, your mind was probably blown because it's so easy to create something so fabulous. You don't have to worry about sewing straight. And worrying about your seams and cutting your fabric. It's just going to be the super easy process to get these jobs done. So the log cabin mud mats retail is $10.49, but as we've talked about before, our So Fun Club pricing is going to be the best that you can find, and we have a price of $8.39 tonight. The next thing that we talked about was the cosmetic bags and how creative it is to do your quilt as you go to create those 2 bags that are included in the kit. And retail on that is $26.99. But wait, our So Fun Club pricing is only $17.49. And then we went on to those project bags. And I know I love project bags. I love keeping everything contained and ready to go when I'm ready to go on a retreat, or just keeping your items together when you're going to your local more sewing center to do a project. So on those, retail is $24.99, but our wonderful Sew Fun Club pricing is only $19.99, and that's for both of those project bags. And remember, all of the items are included in the kit. And the last thing is those Zippity Doo Dones. Now, I know lots of people are frightened of zippers. I know I was when I first started sewing, but these Zippity Doo Dones are going to be putting in a zipper a breeze. And all of the colors that we have, definitely one for all of your projects. And also keep in mind how you can customize those Zippity Doo Dones. Now, retail is $8.29, but our wonderful Sew Fun Club pricing for all of those Zippity Doo Dones, pick your color, is only $6.69. Now let's go back to Jill because she's got so much more to show us.
Well, behind me is our reversible t-shirt quilt. And this is a kit that we developed because so many people were looking for an easy way to make a t-shirt quilt. Again, everything that you need is in the kit except for the t-shirts. It's reversible, so there are 12 blocks on the front and there are 12 blocks on the back. So you can showcase 24 of your t-shirts using our kit. Now let's look at what is included in the kit. So let's go back to that other shot and I'll show you. The kit contains everything you're going to need. It's a lot of stuff in here. So first of all, let's start out with the basic thing that we need when we're making a t-shirt quilt. Is the first thing we need to do is press it. So we give you a big 16-inch press cloth because you do not want to touch your iron onto a motif of a t-shirt or you're going to melt it. So what we're going to do is press all our t-shirts and use this press cloth. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our t-shirt template. This is going to help us basically center our t-shirt motifs. So for example, once I have my t-shirts all nice and pressed, I'm going to put this template over the top. I'm going to use it to center that motif, and then I will be able to just cut around this. Now, the outer edge of this is 14.5 inches. So you can make these blocks as big as 14.5. But if you also want to make them smaller, there are cutouts in here as well that you can mark to make smaller quilt blocks. I'm going to show you the biggest size today, which is basically that 14.5. So our t-shirts are pressed. We're actually going to cut out our blocks. And then we are going to line each of the blocks, so there'll be 24 of them because we have 12 on the front and 12 on the back. We're going to line each of those with our woven fusible interfacing. So you get 24 pieces of woven fusible interfacing, and that fits right on the other side of this block. We're going to turn this over. We're going to put our press cloth down and press this interfacing on. So now, guess what? My t-shirt isn't stretchy anymore. It feels like a piece of cotton fabric. So we've stabilized it. We're going to do 24 of these. When we have that done, we're then going to take the batting. There are 12 pieces of batting in these kits, and we're going to sandwich a piece of the batting in between two of the quilt blocks. So here is my reverse side one of my block, and here is the front side. And I'm going to sandwich a piece of that cotton in between here. And then I'm going to quilt these together. So these two pieces are going to be quilted together. When I do that, it looks like this. So I've got my t-shirt on the front, and you can see here it's lined with the interfacing. Here's the batting, and here is the back side. Now, we take a very easy approach to this and just simply do straight line quilting, vertically or horizontally. And we use painter's tape to do that. Painter's tape is just easy to use, and you can keep peeling it up. So now I've got that completely done. And you can see all the vertical lines here and on the back. And then what you're going to have to do is take one block and join it to the next block. And to do that, we're going to use the last thing in our kit, which is our sash and a dash. And this is our binding. Now, your kits will either come with navy blue sash and a dash and binding, or red sash and a dash and binding. Now, sash and a dash is very much like the Zippity Doo Done, only the difference is there is no zipper in it. It's basically got a seam right down the middle, but it is a casing on both sides, just like our Zippity was. So what we're going to do is take our block, we're going to open up our sash and a dash, nest our quilted block, right sash and a dash, and make a straight stitch down here. And then we're going to take our next block and do the same thing. So that is how we are going to join our blocks for our quilts. So you're going to join block to block to block. Now, this is so easy. You're not quilting this huge t-shirt quilt at once. You're quilting this block and then quilting this block and then simply joining them with sash and a dash. You'll notice we did vertical stitching here and horizontal stitching here. You can do whatever you like. And when that is done, I switch colors here. Here's the navy. You can see that my blocks are all joined. So this is joined to this, and this is joined to that. And then your next step would be to take your remainder of your sash and a dash, and you would join row to row. Let me pull this down a little bit so that you could see. You would simply put your sash and a dash across the entire row like this, nest that whole roll in there, and then add another row. So when that is all done, you have your beautifully joined quilt, rows to rows, block to block, and rows to rows. And that is how this ends up looking. So let's get this open for you. So block to block with our sash and a dash, this block to this block, and then this row to this row with a nice long piece here. And that is how we did that. When all of that is done, you take the navy blue binding that comes in your kit, open that up and slide that right around the edge and just run a zigzag stitch or a straight stitch, and you can bind your quilt. It's that simple. So each kit gives you the template, the pressing cloth, the binding, the sash and a dash, and 24 pieces of the woven fusible interfacing and 12 pieces of batting. So you can create a reversible 24 block quilt. If you do not have 24 t-shirts, you could put a quilt block on the back, or you could put even just the back side of your t-shirt on the back. But most people have 24 t-shirts at least that they want to make into a quilt. So that is our t-shirt quilt kit.
It's pretty fabulous, Jill. It's so wonderful to have t-shirts you can use 24 and easily put it together. I know I have friends that have spent hundreds of dollars to have someone put a t-shirt quilt together for them, and this kit is going to make it easy for anyone to do it for themselves at home. So I love it, and your sash and the dash just changes the way people can do t-shirt quilts.
It sure does. Let's move on to couple of other smaller and more fun projects. These are our little set of 3 wine totes. So you would get the printed batting with the numbers on, just like we've been working with all along, printed batting, and you would be able to make all 3 of these designs out of one kit. You would provide your own fabric. Now, these wine totes are wonderful. They are great to use obviously. But if you're not a wine drinker, I put my starch in here. You could put a water bottle in here, a lovely vinegar, or maybe even a nice olive oil in here. There are a lot of people that use this for water bottles and they hang this on their scooter, or they use this for a skein of yarn. So it's really fun to make these and give this as a gift to somebody, or just use it, when I've seen joggers have this around their wrists like this while they're jogging and hold their water in it. Um, I I will tell you, I actually put a pocket on the back of one of the business card in, and I put my name and address, and I gave the bottle of wine and the wine tote to somebody, and then he gave it to someone else, and he on the back card, he put the location where he lived and who he gave it to. And this little wine tote went all around the world. So this is a very green, friendly to the earth because you're reusing it over and over. And the designs are super easy to make. You can see they're basically just all strips. And the process is the same that we have been going through, but I'll just do a really quick review for you. So here's our batting, and I've got a lot of the piecing done already because I know we've watched the process before. So we started with piece 1, added 2 and 3, and continued on. And when all that is done, we would actually trim around our wine tote like this, and we would put our binding on. Kind of crazy, but you actually put the binding that goes around the handles next. And then you would make a base. And the way you make a base is you actually take the batting that's marked with a circle, and you simply sew this X, and you sew all the way around. Now you can see your sewing lines on the back. You put another piece of fabric here and re-sew over those lines and trim around it. And that gives you this nice base. And then you take that base and you pin that all the way around, right sides together, to the base of your wine tote. Lots of pins, lots of pivoting, sew it all the way around and turn right sides out. And that's when you get your lovely little wine tote. So again, these are great. They look wonderful with batiks. They are great if you have scraps of fabric to use. You might not make all 3 out of the same collection of fabrics. You might make one for your friend who loves blue. You might make this one for your friend who loves wine fabrics. This is a great motif of all these vintage rusts and burgundies. And this one's so cute with the grapes on it. It's really quite
Oh,
lovely.
that's nice.
So
Yeah.
the wine totes are very easy to make and great for gift giving.
I think it would be fun to put a potted plant and leave it on my neighbor's door, just hook it on their door handle
Like for May
as
Day,
a little
right?
gift. Yeah, absolutely. So many things you can do with those wine totes.
And then this is, it's a little bit too big for me to show you all of the batting, but this is our tree skirt. And this is 40 inches around. And this tree skirt actually comes with a template. And this template is basically a wedge, Michele. And you are going to cut out 16 wedges, and that will allow you to piece them on here to make your tree skirt. So your tree skirt will look like this. My camera,
wow.
it's not large enough to show the whole thing, but you will get both sides out of this. This actually
Yeah,
opens
no,
up.
we
Okay,
definitely get the idea. That's
you get the idea.
gorgeous.
Okay, so why are there all of these lines on the template? You can also piece 2.5-inch strips and then use your template to get this look.
Oh,
So
wow.
what we did is we pieced the green and the red and the green and the black, the green and the red. So pieced all those, and then we took our template over the top and then cut them out. And then we used our quilt as you go process. If you also like the look of the Bargello quilt, that is done by piecing those rows again. But with each row, you add another fabric to the bottom. You take one off the top and add another one to the bottom. And then you go ahead and use your wedge. And that gives you a completely different look. And for those of us who are in the warm weather, which we are here in Wisconsin right now, if you have a table that has an umbrella stand here in the center, this is a great summer picnic table, umbrella table, tablecloth, because it's round. And so many of us have round tables in the summertime. You can use this adorable, some outdoorsy fabric for grilling and make yourself a wonderful tree skirt that really is a tablecloth for a round table.
What a great idea. That is
Isn't
just
that?
so cute. Yeah.
That is adorable. And just since we were talking about our Christmas tree skirt, I also wanted you to know that we also have available the stocking that goes with it. And these are
Oh,
our
yeah.
Argyle stockings. So they just are adorable.
And once again, quilt as you go. So it's going to be fast, easy, and not take a bunch of your time, but you're going to have amazing results.
And then we also have our Tory tote bag. I actually brought two samples to show you today. Now, what you would get in the kit is you would get the printed batting for these, just like all of our other Quilt As You Go, and you would also get this strapping material. And that's what we're going to use to make those handles nice and thick and cushiony. And I love this printed batting for the Tory tote because you can lay your fabrics out and get a completely different look. You can see here the way we've used our fabrics, it looks like flying geese. But
Yes.
here I've used the same fabric for these two triangles as well as this triangle, and that gives you that little bit more of a chevron look. So
Correct.
these are easy to make. They simply have, these are easy to make. They have easy handles to cover using the strapping material. And after you've pieced the entire body, you fold right sides together, do the side seams, piece the bottom, and do that gusset again, and bind it on the top, and you're done. That's our Tory
Wow.
tote bag.
So let's talk about pricing real quick. So let's go over the first thing that we were seeing was those wonderful t-shirt quilts, and they're reversible. So you're going to get t-shirts on both sides. And the kit for that retail is $99.99. But you know, us So Fun Club customers are going to get a special price, and we have it down to $65.99. Such an incredible price. So many people are into t-shirt quilts, and this process just really makes it fast and easy, and anyone can do it. And then I love those wine totes. Don't just think about them for wine. You can put pretty much so anything into them. So retail on that is $13.99, but our So Fun special price is $11.19. And then we went into Christmas time and we have our tree skirt. Don't forget, as Jill showed us, you can use it for your table in the summertime or even all year round. Just make multiple ones that you can put on your round tables with the umbrella in the middle. And that is normally $18.29 retail. And our special So Fun Club price is $14.59. And then we had our square stocking. We definitely don't want to forget the stockings up by the mantle. Retail is $10.49 on those, but our special So Fun Club price is only $8.39. Now we have one more thing in this grouping. We have the Tory tote, and retail is $16.29, but our very special So Fun Club pricing is only $13.09. Now we've got one more section for Jill to still show us with June Tailor. So let's get back to Jill and see what else she has for us tonight.
I'm going to model this for you. These are our adult coveralls. And what this is it's kind of like an apron, but it's nice and long, so it kind of covers my whole body. And they are wonderful for people that are doing art projects, or maybe you know a person that's in assisted living or someone in the hospital that needs a little help with a coverall. This is all done Quilt As You Go. So the pattern again is printed on the batting, and the process is the same. You attach the backing and then you sew piece by number. And these are just, I actually have to tell you, I drive to work every day. I always am eating a bagel and slugging my coffee. And I put one of these on, and that just keeps me nice and clean. So by the time I get to work, I don't have coffee all over me. So
What
these
a
are
great idea.
adult coveralls. And several years ago, a couple years ago, I made one of these for my dad, and I used all his Oxford work shirts for his. So I think it was a little bit more, he felt a little bit more comfortable in it because it was clothes that he was used to wearing. So these are nice and long. They really are going to cover your entire lap. And if they are for an elderly person, the really nice part is it'll keep them a little bit warm too. So that's wonderful. Um, we also use our Quilt As You Go batting to make big one-piece quilts. These are 40 by 60 quilts. So the batting has, again, all the printing right on it, and all the lines are printed. And I just want to show you, this is the wonderful one that Morris has chosen to do. This is called Savvy Stripes, and it's very easy to make. It's basically just stripes of gorgeous fabrics that you piece together and make this lovely quilt. Now,
I
you
just love it.
isn't it pretty? And here's
Yes.
the same quilt, only we used, this was a one that you could be give for a baby shower gift. Again, it's 40 by 50. So these are yes, 40 by 50 when it's done. So they're just nice lap size quilts. If you have a gorgeous piece of fabric, why cover it up? You know, why cut up? Just use that strip of fabric. But say you have a little bit more skills, you might want to pre-piece a row
Mm.
instead of just using your row of fabric. You might want to pre-piece something and use this as your row. And we did that here as well. And this is the same quilt again. All three of these are the exact same design. It's just simply the strips of fabric sewn together using our method. Now here we pre-pieced this piano key border. So those are just rectangles that we pieced together to make a strip, and we use that as our row. So that is called Savvy Stripes. It's really a versatile quilt design, and you can see how really perfectly that looks. Now, those one piece quilts are gorgeous, but what if you like to actually make a block design and add block to block? You can see behind me, this is our mix and match quilt. This quilt is comprised of 12 blocks. There's only 3 different designs, and you make 4 of each of those 3 designs. What's so interesting about this quilt is the way you twist and turn the blocks and how you lay out the fabric, you get a completely different look every time. So you can really make this quilt look unique. So this would be one version that you're going to see here behind me. Now here's the exact same quilt, and look how different it looks because we've used, you know, a different layout and completely different fabrics in here. So that
Wow.
gives you a completely different look. And I also just wanted to show you, because you're making it block by block and attaching your blocks, you can even put something different on the back. And then here's yet a third option for that as well. And this one we laid out differently too. So once you get your blocks done, lay them all out and see what kind of
So
alternative block
pretty.
designs you can do. So this is called the mix and match quilt. And we call it mix and match because, again, you're using only 3 blocks and you're making 4 each of them. So the 3 blocks look like this, and you get 4 strips of this in your kit. So you might not want to make a quilt. You might want to make 3 table runners, or you might want to use these blocks for pillows. They're very versatile designs. So you would get 4 of this design. And as I move the batting over, you can see 4 of this design. That's kind of like a little bit like a log cabin. And then you get 4 of this design. So you choose what fabrics you want to mix and match. And again, the process is the same. Of course, we start out by attaching our backing, and then we continue to sew pieces in numerical order, exactly the way that we have watched the process. I'll just quickly sort through all these for you. And then when your blocks are done, you would, of course, join them for your finished quilt, or maybe, like I said, you want to do table runners or placemats. That's up to you. You get all 12 blocks in one quilt. And that, again, is called our mix and match quilt. Some fun projects for the kitchen also is we have our little hanging towel kit. In this kit, you get the toweling material and you get the topper batting. This topper part is done quilt as you go. You add all the fabrics that go up here, and if you want to put some decorative fabric on the bottom, you can add those as well. So you're going to get this waffle weave fabric in the kit. You're going to want to wash it and dry it because it shrinks a lot. So you wash it and dry it first, and then you're going to use the cotton batting, and you're going to construct the top. You're going to slide your toweling in here. You can gather it or pleat it, and then simply case that in and add a little bit of decorative fabric on the bottom or rickrack. And then you can either put a snap, or we did a buttonhole, and then you put this over the handle of your oven door, or you can put this anywhere you want in your kitchen. These are also wonderful gifts to give because they sew up in no time. And of course, here it is out of a Christmas print, which really is cute and a fun gift to give. So those are our little hanging towel kits. And then the last two things that I want to show you.
Okay.
So you have chosen the tan and the gray, which are actually our two most popular colors. My samples that I'm going to go through the process for use the red Zippity, but you've got the tan and the gray, which are so cute. From a size standpoint, if you want to know about the size, these basically hold like a 6-pack beverage. So they're quite large, actually. But this is a little different process, Michele. So I just wanted to go through it with you real quickly. But what you're going to get in your kits is you are going to get this insulated batting. So you can hear it kind of has a crunchy sound to it. And
Oh,
you might
absolutely. Yeah.
little flecks of silver in here. That's going to keep your food either cold or warm. So this is insulated batting, and you're going to get a left side and a right side. You're also going to get this strapping material that we're going to use for the handles, and we are going to get a plastic base for the bottom of our lunch boxes so that we can stabilize the area, right? And to construct these, it's super easy to do. It's kind of a sew on the line technique. We're going to take our right sides, we're going to sandwich our right sides together. So this is a little bit of a different process. And we're going to lay our insulated batting over the top. And we're going to sew on the dotted line all the way around. Sew on that dotted line, except for the top edge, because there's no dotted line here. We're going to leave that open for our Zippity. So when we have this sewing done, it looks like this. So sewing is done. Here is our insulated batting, and inside here are our two layers. And then we're going to turn right sides out. And when we turn right sides out, we basically end up getting that insulated batting right in the center. So again, you'd have your right side and your left side. And what we're going to do then is join those two sides with our Zippity Doo Done zipper. So my samples I know here are in red, but again, you have gotten the two more popular colors, which is the gray Zippity and the tan Zippity. And you just run straight stitch right along here to attach your left side to your right side. And then you would take the strapping material that's included in the kit and you would cover that with your fabric. And we show you a very easy way to do that. And then you would put your right sides together and you would simply sew the base and sew the sides. And then those four corners are open again. And those you pull in the opposite direction like this and simply run a straight stitch across. Before you do the fourth corner, make sure you open the Zippity so that you can turn it right sides out. So it's wonderful in the tan because so many lunch colors. I think the fabrics go so nicely with the tan. And you can leave that as is, or for example, this is our Tim Holtz fabric. We added a little fabric swatch here to the top just to embellish it a little bit. And again, can be done or left blank. So here's the gray version, another beautiful K fabric. And these are just such a fun size. It's almost like a little suitcase, but perfect for travel, perfect for lunches. And it really does keep your lunch cold. I use one every day and it's amazing. So it'll keep it cold or it will keep it hot. And those are our little lunch kits. And then our last thing I wanted to show you today is our big extra large reusable insulated grocery tote. And these also come with the insulated batting. You provide your own fabric. The insulated batting is all quilt as you go, sew by number, and it comes with the strapping material as well. And so you're going to sew this huge tote starting in the center with 1, 2, 3, and then you go out to the sides. You finish the gussets the same way. And let me open that up for you so you can see. Each of these comes with a big plastic base. Now you can cover this with fabric or just leave it as is. But what the plastic base does is it really stabilizes the base of the bag so that you can really fill it with groceries. sure you can see, you can really get a lot in here. So if you are buying groceries for 1 to 3 people, you can fit most everything you need in here. And it's insulated, so it warm or it will keep it cold. So that is our insulated shopper's tote, and that is a fun project to sew up. Also great to give as a gift.
Yeah, and I love that because here in California, we have certain stores that you have to purchase a bag. So I often I send my husband with quilted bags to get our groceries, but these bags are larger, and with the insulation, they're going to help your groceries get from point A to point B fabulously. And once again, the easy peasy quilt as you go process that June Tailor has come up with, and Jill is going to make it fast and simple for you to put these together in a pinch. So I love those. Now let's talk about the pricing. So let's go all the way back to the adult coverall, and the retail on those is $11.79, but our very special So Fun Club pricing is only $9.49 for those wonderful coveralls. And then we have the Savvy Stripes, and that quilt pattern is $16.29, and the So Fun Club special price is $13.09. Isn't that wonderful? And then we went to the Mix and Match quilt. So many things you can do with that. You can do it just as basic strips or use your own creativity and put some fabulous blocks in that quilt. Retail is normally $34.99, but our Moore's So Fun Club special price is $27.99. And then those hanging towel kits. Did you just fall in love with those? I know that I did. I think they have so much potential, and I love that waffle texture for the towel. Retail is $10.99 for those, but our So Fun Club special price is only $8.79 for each one of those kits. And then we went to the lunch totes, and we all need those. I know that I love using my lunch bag, and this would be a perfect addition to any household, either for your kid, your husband, or just you. You know, pick your favorite fabrics and make yourself a fabulous lunch tote. Retail is normally $25.99. Our special price here tonight is only $20.69. And our very last item that we all need here in California or across the country, if you're joining us virtually, is our insulated shopper's tote. Retail is $27.29, and our special Moore's So Fun Club price tonight is only $21.79. So let's go back to Jill. If we can have split screen here. Jill, I want to thank you for not only bringing to our customers the easy quilt as you go process for all of your fabric line that we have here tonight and all of the products that we can make, and how you've taken simple steps to make it easy for everyone to make something fabulous. It's pretty amazing, and I know our customers are going to love these items.
And it's a lot of fun. I actually have used the word it's addictive. Once you make one, you just want to keep sewing because it's so easy and it turns out great every time.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. And I want to thank you from all of our more staff here for joining us here for our virtual So Fun Club in September. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you again in the future with more June Tailor products.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye bye. So, to get us started with our show and tell, I have this quilt here to share with you tonight. Now, it's just a little table topper, and I'm going to come in closer so that you can see some of the detail. So, on this quilt, I basically took my Dresden ruler, I have a very long one, and I extended it and just added strips. I had the yellow for the center. It could be a starburst or it could just be the center of this particular quilt that I made. But it was fun to do something a little bit creative, out of the box, using my Dresden ruler for something other than just doing a Dresden quilt design. So it was fun. Once again, I used lots of my scraps, and every time I turn it, it almost looks completely different. So that's what I have to share for our show and tell tonight. What are you going to share this month? So, thank you once again for joining us for our September virtual So Fun Club. Remember to go to moors-so.com where you can purchase these fabulous quilt as you go items that Jill showed us from June Tailor. We look forward to seeing you each and every month for our virtual Sew Fun Club, as well as joining us in our 5 locations. Be safe, everyone, and happy stitching. Bye-bye.